Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw. I'm here at the Fairmont Kenya Safari Club with the general manager, Laurent Chaudet, and we're going to talk a little bit about this historic property that many of you may have heard of before, but may not know exactly what it's all about. And this is Insider Travel Report. Now, Laurent, you've been hosting us for the past couple days here, and it's been an amazing experience. I've heard a lot about this property over the years, but tell us a little bit about the history, because it is a historic property, right?
Absolutely. Welcome first to Fairmont Kenya Safari Club. When William Holden, at the end
The
of
famous American actor.
yeah, absolutely, fell in love with the place, decided to make a club. The name at that time was Mawingo, which means clouds in Swahili. And from there, he built these beautiful cottages all around there and make a club and welcome all his friends from Hollywood. And the story of this hotel starts from there.
Yeah, and then after that, and ultimately it became a Fairmont how long ago?
Fairmont has been there for about 15 years,
Okay.
right? But from William Holden, who stayed there for about 10 years with the friends and all the good of Hollywood who came and visit there. But Fairmont is managing since 15 years only.
And you can actually walk around this hotel and you see all these old pictures of Hollywood greats, and he had many of his friends come stay here. I mean, John Wayne, a lot of people came, right?
Absolutely, and at the time it was a club, so you were supposed to be a member of the club. We had Mr. Lyndon Johnson as well, who became a member of the club, and all these celebrities visited the place there. He enjoyed. Hunting was not allowed anymore, and most of them turned to be a conservationist. That helped us as well to build a conservancy and this animal orphanage that we have actually running and try to save these famous bongos, mountain bongos.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second, because it is a key part of this place. But let's talk first about the accommodations, because you have a variety of different accommodations. I'm actually in one of the cottages that William Holden built, but talk about all of the other stuff. In fact, behind us you see the main building, right?
Absolutely, and that started in the 30s with a very rich divorced lady from New York who built, in fact, the first manor here in the 30s, fell in love with a French aviators, a story about all that before Mr. William Holden.
Okay.
But when William came, of course, he managed the manor better to make it an hotel and build the 12 beautiful cottages. Then he enjoyed the last one over there. He could see what's happened at the bar at that time when he stayed there.
Which is most important, right?
Absolutely, he was running the hotel basically. Then after built a new villas, what we call garden view. Then other villa came in by the river about 20 years later. So now we have a 120 rooms and suites hotel that it's managed as an hotel, not at club anymore. So all the publics are welcome.
Yeah. Now talk a little bit about the bar and the restaurant scene here. What do you have to offer here?
Hello, now we have this beautiful Tusk restaurant with a terrace where the guests can see the various kind of monkeys we have in the property for the breakfast there. We serve buffet there, and we open in a few weeks a new restaurant which will be an open grill restaurant that will give an alternative to the guests in the evening and for the lunch. At the same time, we have this terrace overlooking the Mount Kenya, which is at 5,000, the second one in Africa after the Kilimanjaro. And of course, we have various options around the property for romantic dinners by the pond that we tried yesterday.
Yeah, we did. It was a romantic dinner for about 15 people. But
absolutely, there with the bonfires.
Yeah.
But we can do that in the rose garden or the orchid garden or in the bush. We have a bush dinner organization as well.
And then you can also set up, as we did this morning, we did a slopes breakfast, which is you're on the slopes of Mount Kenya, and they set up a whole breakfast there, right?
Yes, this is one of our most exciting excursion, in fact, when we take the guests on horses from the hotel, and about after the rivers and the forest, we come to the bush where the breakfast is there for you with bubbling and a chef to prepare your eggs.
And then also you do have a spa here, but you have one coming up. You're going to be, hopefully in December, you're going to be opening up a new spot, right?
Absolutely true. Actually, we have 3 treatment rooms in one part of the hotel, but luckily we'll open a new one in a villas. It will be a 3 treatment rooms with a sauna and steam rooms overlooking the forest, and that will open by end of December this year.
So you're making improvements all the time, right?
Absolutely, and we do expect to make this hotel as a spa destination because there is very few altitude spa at 2,000 meters on the equator facing the equatorial forest.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the activities here. And one of the activities you do have, you have a 9-hole golf course, right?
We have a 9-hole golf course which is in Yagdo, so we are part of the most famous golf event. It's only a 9 holes, par 3. It's not complicated there. Everybody can be a champion on this golf course. And it's very fun that we start the number 4th in the northern hemisphere and finish it on the southern hemisphere. So it's very rare. And we are probably one of the only golf to be on the equator at this altitude.
And indeed, we went through an equator ceremony yesterday where we were initiated in our walk between the north and the southern hemisphere, right?
Yeah, this famous Coriolis effect there, and I think you receive a beautiful certificate saying that you've been part of this ceremony.
Yeah, I think you have my certificate. I have to get it from you, actually, so I could at least say that I did that. Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the other activities, and you mentioned one earlier because it's a major part of the hotel. It's your animal orphanage and the conservancy, which actually was first established by William Holden, and you still have it here, and it's a marvelous, I wouldn't call it a petting zoo because it is animals that have been taken because they are injured or are orphaned or something, but it is a marvelous way to see animals, right?
Absolutely, it's very important for us. In fact, we are an hotel within the conservancy. We have 600 hectares of conservancy around there with some animals, about 1,500 different animals, no cats. That allows us to bring the guests by horse or by mountain bike to the conservancy. But our main point is obviously our beautiful mountain bongos, rare animal.
They're beautiful, as you see. They're one of the largest of the antelope family, right?
Absolutely, it's one of the biggest forest antelope that we can find. Unfortunately, with the time this animal disappeared, imagine that we have less than 100 in the wild, and we have 66 in our breeding process there. So it's important for us because when you talk about conservancy, when you see only 66 animals, and if we miss our program, in 4 or 5 years this animal won't exist anymore. So all the guests here are very sensitive about this beautiful animal that you saw yourself. And in parallel of this, we have an animal orphanage where we bring the guests to explain what we do with them and try to bring them to the wild afterwards. But in that program, there is as well a very important educational process. We welcome about 10,000 students to explain a bit what is conservancy and how we have to take care of these animals. But the mountain bongos is obviously a key issue for us, and all we participate to save this animal.
And in addition to the bongos, you also have a lot of different species of monkeys in there. You have ostrich, you have other kinds of antelope. It really is a love, and you're up close and personal with them too. So it's really a great experience to be. And you're not yet on safari yet. And let's go to that aspect because you do have game drives here, right?
Absolutely, we have 3 of the nicest conservancy park at between 30 minutes and 1 hour drive from here, named Old Pejeta for the rhino, Lewa and Samburu. And all these parks we can bring our guests very easily for half day or full day to discover all these animals that we participate in a sense to preserve.
Yeah, well, it sounds like we're going on a game drive this afternoon, so you'll see some images of that one. But so far it's been an amazing experience. All too short. 2 days here is way too short. What is the average stay? How long do people come for?
Too short. We noticed that the guests stay an average of 1.5 days. We are changing that with our partners, commercial partners, tour operators, because obviously there is much more to do between the golf, as you mentioned, the horses, the horse riding, all the animals to visit. So we expect to go to 2 days, but we definitely recommend our customers to stay here at least 2 nights in order to enjoy all the facilities and activities in the hotel.
Well, Laurent, thank you very much for hosting us. It's been a marvelous experience. I've heard about this property for a long time. It's historic, as we talked about William Holden being one of the people who made this property famous, and now you're making it famous too here as you expand it, and we're looking forward to even more. It's an amazing things you can do here between the animals, the golf, the special breakfast, the special dinners, and I thank you for hosting us.
Thank you. It was a pleasure hosting you, and hope to welcome a lot of guests to discover another Kenya facing Mount Kenya.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.